Welcome. We're glad you're here and tuned into the Findlay Community Spotlight Series. Findlay Automotive Group is proud to spotlight the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We hope you're inspired by this short video, and we invite you to connect and get involved with this and many other organizations at findlayspotlight.com.
We've been here in Southern Nevada for about 20 years, helping local patients and families, and it's been a lot of evolution, but we are really, really proud of the work that we're doing and the organization we've become. So the overall mission statement is to find a cure for leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease, and myeloma, and to improve the quality of life for patients and their families. But what our mission doesn't say is that we've been a part of every major blood cancer breakthrough in the last 60 years. Our mission also doesn't say that we've dedicated over $1 billion in research to finding a cure, and that we've taken certain diagnosis survival rates from less than 10% to over 90%. I have the privilege of being inspired every single day. Kennedy's a doll baby. She was diagnosed with ALL. Once our pediatric patients, they get diagnosed, they're on usually a 3-year chemo plan or treatment plan. And so they have a very heavy dose for the first year, and then it's going into what's called a maintenance therapy. And so Kennedy completed that at 5. She got to get her ears pierced after chemo, which was a big deal. And she is now, in fact, last week celebrated her 3-year anniversary of being cancer-free.
We first got involved with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society when we received just an email from them about a photo shoot that they were doing because they wanted to do a promotion that it was something about like cancer survivors in your neighborhood. And Kennedy was in full treatment, had no hair, but she was a princess. And so she dressed up as Cinderella and came down for her photo shoot. We learned more about the organization, and they were able to provide us with some financial assistance, and they had tons of information for us that we were trying to absorb everything at the same time. Kennedy was obviously very young when she was diagnosed, and it was probably the worst thing that we could have imagined happening to our family at that moment. And it was really hard, and it was overwhelming, and we were grateful that the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society was there for us.
In 2010, my husband was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia that at the time was not curable or treatable. So we contacted the local LLS chapter to see how we could get involved. With, the thought in mind with no cure, we wanted to be able to do something. So we got involved and we started running marathons with Team in Training. We'd never run before, so it was a really great experience. And then I was asked to be on the board about a year later, and that's how my journey started with LLS. And you're thinking, how does this happen? Here we are, this young raising kids family, and we traveled around to Mayo Clinic and MD Anderson, and everyone said the same thing. And at MD Anderson, they said he had 2 months to 2 years to live. It's been 6 years. There still is no cure for his type of leukemia, so we're really on the journey to cure him. And so that's why we're really involved with Light the Night and Man Woman of the Year and just all the campaigns that LLS does throughout the year, just because it's such an important mission. And in Nevada, currently, as of last year, our youngest patient was 0 and our oldest was 99, so it really doesn't discriminate here, And so when you are talking that many lives and people, it's just not okay, and we just need to find our cures.
It all started for me in 2013 when I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I was away at a work trip. The doctor called and said, "Hey, James, I've got some bad news for you. You've got cancer." And without skipping a beat, of course, my head flooded with emotion, thinking, my God, is this a death sentence? How am I going to tell my 1-year-old and my family that Daddy's got cancer? So I did everything I could on that work trip to avoid Googling lymphoma. And I made it about 3 hours and found myself at Google and typed in non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And would you believe the first thing that came up for me was the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. If it wasn't for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, I can honestly say also from a medical standpoint that I may not be sitting here talking with you today. Leukemia and Lymphoma Society funded some research that brought about a chemotherapy drug that was part of my treatment that ultimately helped to save my life. Today, I'm 3 years in remission from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It has been an incredible journey. I don't look at life the same. It was the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society who said to me, "James, plan for parenthood beyond your 1-year-old at home in the future. And so the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society connected me with the Livestrong Foundation and a program called Hope for Men. And long story is, my wife birthed a daughter who we named Kennedy Hope, because while she was pregnant with Kennedy, I was going through my cancer journey. And if it wasn't for that experience and having to know that I had to be alive for the birth of my daughter, and it was because of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society that made that connection for me in the midst of all the chaos of cancer, I don't know that Kennedy Hope would be here today.
I think I'm one of the lucky ones, because every day I get to come to work, I get to love what I do, and at the end of the day, I feel like the world's a better place because I showed up. And the reason we have the posters hanging around the office is it reminds us why we work so hard and around the clock and tirelessly, because that's what our patients and their families deserve. Last fiscal year, we gave in copay assistance almost $400,000 to 192 families. On top of the copay and financial assistance, we also offer free resources, educational resources, support groups.
Got to go on this hunt where you get to all these Nike stores and you get different earrings. My mom is wearing one right here. And there's the San Francisco Bridge. There's these arrows that my sister has.
If a parent were to come to me and say, my child was just diagnosed with cancer, I would definitely say you need to get in touch with LLS. They will help you, and they will help educate you, and they will wrap their arms around you, and they will do everything they can to make this journey as less painful. It's never going to be painless because your child is sick and you don't know if your child is going to live, and it's a really, really hard thing to go through, but with the help of LLS, you can make it through.
Beyond the financial support that any nonprofit needs, the community joining in and being part of our fight against blood cancer. Any one of our patients and their families, they want to be reassured that they're not in this alone. We have a community behind us, backing them, supporting them, lifting them up. That's critical, and I think it is what defines a community, is how do we reach our vulnerable populations and those that need us the most. If people do want to get involved with LLS, they can visit our website at lls.org/SNV for Southern Nevada. We're also on Facebook, and I would just encourage anyone who wants to be a part of the fight against blood cancer to reach out and get involved.
I would say, don't worry, because LLS is here for you.